Welcome to MovieNarra. A 2024 film titled The Old Guy will tell the story of a middle-aged man with a secret and extremely dangerous profession. What could his job possibly be? Well then, put on your headset, fasten your seatbelt, tighten your ex's pants, and enjoy the show. The story centers around a middle-aged man named Danny Dolinski, who is having his injured right wrist checked after getting hurt at work. Danny decides to remove his arm brace, claiming he's feeling better. However, the doctor warns him not to engage in any strenuous activity just yet, fearing it might worsen the condition of his wrist.
With the arthritis you had, you can expect an occasional flare-up.
Can I go back to work?
Well, we don't want to be putting pressure on your finger. Any other questions?
Danny works as a baker at a small bakery in the city center. One day, a young man named Ivan suddenly shows up asking for his help. Whoever Danny really is, Ivan insists that in their line of work, there isn't a single person who doesn't know the name Danny Dolinski. Fearing his cover might be blown, Danny immediately takes Ivan to the back kitchen.
We can't just close in the middle of the day. Well,
It turns out Ivan had just finished a job and accidentally got wounded in the stomach. He came to Danny seeking help to contact the company, as Donnie is the only one who has direct access to the higher-ups.
yeah, it's Dolinski. Yeah.
After calling the company executives, Danny tells Ivan to take off his clothes, saying a doctor will arrive soon to treat the wound on his stomach. But when Ivan is instructed to look at a picture of a beach, suddenly,
Company takes you on a vacation.
Really?
after executing Ivan and handing over his body to the cleanup team, Danny heads to a large house owned by the company director. And here's where you might be a bit surprised to learn. Danny's true profession is that of a contract killer.
I don't mind waiting.
Yes, the company in question turns out to be one that operates in the business of killing, offering contract killer services to high-end clients. Danny himself had worked as a hitman for 30 years until he was forced into retirement about a year ago due to his injured hand.
Gotta give him a chance, right?
No. Put me back in the field and we can avoid these problems.
Her name is Opal, one of the company's top executives and Danny's superior for the past 30 years. Danny insists on returning to his old job, tired of pretending to be a baker. But realizing that his hand injury still hasn't fully healed, Opal rejects his request.
Come on, Dolinski. You must have known this day was coming.
After 30 years?
Your record's impeccable.
Since Danny was so adamant about getting back to work, Opal finally agreed to his request. But this time, the job was a bit different. Danny would have to take on the role of a trainer, mentor, and instructor to guide a young hitman who had just entered the criminal world.
Back in the field.
I've got something I think you might like.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
In a different capacity.
His name is Walborg. Let's just call him Will, a rookie hitman assigned to take out a target. After getting to know each other, Danny and Will immediately get to work on their preparations.
I'm leading the charge. Whatever, yo.
Due to their significant age gap and the fact that Will belongs to the millennial generation, Donnie is quite puzzled when he sees Will painting his fingernails. To Danny, it's something that doesn't reflect the ruthless image of a contract killer at all.
Did you paint your fingernails? Never mind.
Set in London, Danny meets up with his acquaintance named Anata to pick up some gear, including firearms and other essentials. Anata ends up tagging along with them as he happens to have a date with his girlfriend later that day.
I've always wanted to visit there.
Belfast.
It's got a great music scene.
With the preparations complete, Danny and his crew meet up with a liaison who will reveal the identity of their target. After showing them a photo and the execution location, The liaison informs Danny about Wilborg, rumored to be a prodigy in the world of contract killing. That, he says, is the very reason why Opal recruited him into the company.
What about him?
Opal thinks he's some sort of hitman prodigy. Like you used to be.
What? Retard?
Arriving at the execution site, a golf course, Danny tells Will to stay in the car and let him handle the job alone. He does this out of jealousy toward Will, unable to accept that another hitman is being seen as better than him.
What the?
The target is seen playing golf, accompanied by 2 bodyguards. When the ball happens to land near Danny's hiding spot, he quickly moves it closer to the trees, hoping to lure the target into the perfect spot for a close-range shot. And, because of his still injured arm, Danny fails, causing Will to lose the target, who manages to escape into the woods. And the target climbs up a tree, making it difficult for Danny to get a clear shot. As 2 bodyguards come rushing in, Danny is forced to hide. Just as he finds himself cornered and out of options, suddenly...
Go get him! He can't even aim!
Yep, wearing a pink beanie and looking far from intimidating, Wilborg manages to finish the job swiftly and with precision. As a result, instead of heading straight home, Danny and Will receive a new assignment to meet with Anton, a senior trainer from the company's London branch, along with his assistant Simone, both considered legends in the field, having spent 30 years in this line of work. Danny is tasked with doing something no one else can, namely,
Get out of here. Barbieri. That's a suicide mission.
Yeah.
Danny initially refuses the job after finding out that the target is one of the top executives at the company's Liverpool branch, someone heavily guarded by dozens of men around the clock. What shocks Danny even more is learning that the previous target he and Will eliminated was actually a candidate set to replace the company's director. It becomes clear that there's political maneuvering behind the mission, and Danny wants no part in that game.
So you're going via water. No one asked me and no one asked you.
Though reluctantly accepting the job, Danny and Will begin discussing their target's location, a remote island about 30 kilometers off the mainland. The fastest way to reach it is by using a small motorboat.
Where's all the fucking water?
Upon arriving, Will is taken aback to find that the river they need to cross is currently dried up. In other words, they have no choice but to walk the entire 30 kilometers to reach the target's location.
You find this funny?
We'll walk. It's about 1.5 miles.
Upon arrival, Will immediately activates a special device to disable the alarm system, allowing them to slip inside undetected. Just as Danny is about to carry out the execution, the target's granddaughter suddenly appears, asking for a glass of water. And so...
Cheers.
After kindly giving the target's granddaughter a glass of water, Danny calmly returns to face the target, who asks for a moment to speak. As one of the top executives of the Liverpool branch, the target is no less wealthy than Anton. He offers Danny a payment 10 times higher than what Anton promised, on the condition that Danny switch sides, work for him instead, and turn against Anton, who assigned him this mission.
It's above my pay grade to contemplate.
Trading means replacing.
As a sign of agreement to the deal, Danny is ordered to eliminate his own partner, Will, seen as young, inexperienced, and clueless. And guess what Danny does? Yeah, even though Danny isn't exactly fond of Will, he still holds strong to the value of loyalty, refusing to let money turn him into a traitor. With the mission complete, Danny and Will meet Anton to report the outcome. Anton praises their teamwork, saying the two make a perfect match. From now on, he expects Danny to continue working side by side with Will.
Quite a team, yeah?
I don't see it.
You're gonna need him.
I don't need him. What for?
Far from Anton's expectations, Danny harbors some frustration toward Will, whom he sees as reckless in his work. Reckless, in this case, meaning he lacks conscience and a sense of humanity, like when he took out 2 bodyguards during their first mission and nearly shot a small child in the second. This leads to a heated argument between the two, which escalates into a bit of trash talk and a brief showdown of skills.
It's not that complicated.
Luckily, Anata quickly steps in to break up the fight and drags Danny out of the nightclub. But then something unexpected happens. 3 thugs appear, intending to mess with Danny, but
This guy. I find you, London.
yep. Turns out the 3 of them are messengers from the family of the first target who was killed at the golf course. They're simply looking for the mastermind behind the assassination, and they're out for revenge over their family member's death. Feeling unsafe in the city center, Donnie takes Anata to his mother's house in the countryside, using the trip as an opportunity to introduce her as his future wife, even though Anata only sees him as a friend. The next morning, feeling guilty about the fight the night before, Donnie calls Will to apologize. Will accepts the apology, brushing it off as nothing serious. In fact, he has good news about their next assignment. Simone, Anton's assistant, has located their 3rd target, another high-ranking executive with an even higher payout than before.
Grand Central Hotel.
Come again?
Simone found him, apparently.
Without giving it much thought, Danny heads straight to the city center to meet up with Will and take on the job. The target is located at a luxurious 7-star hotel. This time, Will wants to take the lead, insisting on going up alone to eliminate the target, while Danny stays in the car, waiting for the mission report to come in.
Copy that.
Armed with the room number provided by Simone, Will quietly sneaks into the hotel without asking permission from anyone. And then... At the same time, Donnie accidentally spots Simone arriving at the hotel with 2 of her men. Sensing something off, Donnie quickly calls Will and urges him to get out immediately. But then...
Get the out of there! Wheel dog!
Yeah, Simone doesn't kill Will right away, seeing him as useful bait to lure Danny out. At the same time, Simone has already dispatched a group of assassins to Opal's residence. And here's what happens.
Hi, guys.
Back to Danny. He quickly changes outfits and escapes the hotel, heading straight to Anton to demand answers about what's really going on. Why did Simone, his trusted assistant, suddenly betray them? As it turns out, there's an outside force, a 3rd party, trying to take down the contract killing organization. This group is led by someone named Monty, and Simone has secretly become part of his plan. Now everything is in chaos, especially with news just spreading that Danny is presumed dead, leaving Anton as possibly the only high-ranking member of the company still alive. In a situation this dire, escaping seems like the only way to survive. And yet, Danny can't stop thinking about Will. Despite his flaws, Will doesn't deserve to die. He's just another victim caught in the middle of this unfolding war.
And we lost.
Danny rushes home to evacuate his mother and Anata. But then... Yep, Simone had already arrived and opened fire on them all. Using an ironing board reinforced with thick books as a shield, Danny slowly moves forward, firing back at Simone, until finally, after successfully taking down Simone, Danny tells Anata and his mother to hide somewhere safe. Meanwhile, he sets off alone, determined to rescue Will from Monty's grasp. Danny's first move is to visit one of Monty's businesses, a bar located in the city center, carrying a jerry can filled with gasoline siphoned from his car. He forces the bartender to reveal Monty's whereabouts, and when the bartender refuses to talk, here's what Danny does next. After burning the bar to the ground, Danny doesn't leave right away. Instead, he waits in his car, observing who shows up at the scene. Aside from the firefighters, a man appears, looking very much like a mafia boss, confirming that this is indeed the Monty in question. Without wasting a second, Danny gives chase and eventually manages to capture him. After capturing Monty, Danny heads straight to the location where Will is being held. There, one of Monty's men suddenly pulls out a knife and stabs Will in the stomach, leaving him sprawled on the floor.
Leave the kid! Get lost!
And yes, a gunfight breaks out between Danny and Monty's men, putting Danny in a tight spot. Using whatever's around him, he grabs a frying pan to catch a few bullets, heating them up. And as a result, just as Danny tries to escape, Monty and one of his men suddenly appear, guns drawn and ready to fire. But then, yep, for the second time, Danny's life is saved by Wildbrock, the genius hitman. Even with Will in critical condition, Danny still finds time to brag about his credibility as the legendary assassin, the best of the best. But in truth, Danny is a genuinely kind and sincere person, despite having a profession driven by money. The end, a pretty solid ending.